ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् Verse 134 यत्साङ्ख्यैः प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति. So Vidyaranya says there are two types of students. One is mentioned in verse 132. Other is mentioned in verse 133. In any class of Vedanta, both the types of students are there. It's not been described to judge others. It is described to understand in which group I belong to. So basically, those people who have a bahuvayakula chittanam, so the people who have a lots of preoccupation. We discussed also what are the preoccupations, etc. So preoccupied with the family, preoccupied with the possessions, more the things, more the preoccupation actually. So those people definitely they are not so fit for understanding this thing and gaining knowledge, at least claiming. Preoccupation reveals a dependency also. Wherever our mind is preoccupied, that is where our dependency is there. A link is there. Your mind is preoccupied with a given thing because mind is seeking something or gaining something through that. It seems that it is gaining. Sense of security, not security. Mind is, what is the mind is gaining by depending upon something is a sense, not really. It's just a sense. A sense of security arises by association with that thing. A sense of happiness arises. Yeah. A sense of peace. It's a sense. Because there is nothing which object which is like that. As such also we know in English, these words never denote an object. Peace or happiness or security. It's not object. That is simple to understand. And therefore, the association with a given object and gaining security, no, not at all. Gaining joy or happiness, no. And very simple reason is, if no association with the object, that is the state of your experience should be the most unhappy state of experience. But it is not so. In fact, it's reverse, and that is a deep sleep state. I mean, One is, it's not a miserable state. It's a state which is most welcome state. We are ready even in the waking state to slip into that state. So this one has to make oneself free from the preoccupations of the objects. That is, I consider as a adhikaritva, because you need your mind should be totally available for this thing is not so, it's not that simple. Also, we should understand very well. Perhaps in your understanding it may develop the topic, but it will not percolate, because even for percolation through the mind should be available. And therefore very basic thing is this vyakula chittam is no way helpful. Preoccupation, and very unfortunate actually. In a human life, it is very unfortunate. As a child, you are not preoccupied. As a child, you are a person, in fact. Yeah. But as you grow, you are no more a person. You are a personality. Simply. If someone describes me, will not describe it as a person, will describe me as a personality. That is how all the interviews of any given person we say, it's actually an interview of his personality. Yeah. What do you like and what you don't like? Most of the thing is this. Except few things, where were you born and what are your qualifications. That 2-3 things, that's it. Rest everything is just personality. Person's turns to personality is a curse. The child life and adult life. Child life is not, his mind is not preoccupied. You can see the joy in a child's life also, compared to the person who has now turned into a personality. Personality is nothing but a bundle of likes and dislikes. Person turns to personality just because in his life, in the various experiences, he has got various disappointments, etc. Because of his, he could not fulfill his all likes and dislikes. All the likes and dislikes cannot be fulfilled also. So majority time you see yourself as a failure. In a certain experiences you see yourself as a success. And this not appreciating something which really calls for an immaturity. That person is no more. No one is a person. This personality. If one is a personality, then one cannot gain this jnana, because personality is a mithya. The person is the reality. Person is the reality, not personality is the reality. Yeah. Shastra addresses, Mahavakya addresses to a person, not personality. So if you are converted into personality from the person, there is no qualification. That's for sure. If I always look upon myself as a personality, the Mahavakya never addresses to me. Mahavakya says, Tvam, you as a person, the conscious being, is Brahman, the consciousness, which is ultimately the being. There is no other being in the world. You are the being. You are not one of the things. Oh, consciousness is distinct from everything. If consciousness is distinct from everything, then pen is distinct from the camera. Same way, consciousness is also distinct from everything. Consciousness is also one of the object. Could you follow what I am saying? If pen is distinct from camera, camera is distinct from the computer, well, that way consciousness is distinct from all other objects. Camera is also distinct from all other objects. Pen is also distinct from all other objects. Consciousness is distinct from everything. It is not a subject, then you are talking about object. Yeah. Consciousness should be both subject and object. Yeah. But Swamiji, subject can never be an object can never be a subject. That's what we say. So-called subject-object must be mithya. And the basis of both is the truth. And when you gain that experience of a wholeness of subject and object, in which you never feel a division of an subject and object, you are really whole. That consciousness you are. Anyway, so basically, this is, the person who, he is no more a person, but he is a personality, he will never understand. Bahu Vyakula Chittana, one type of students, discussed in verse 132. The other type of a student, well, definitely is discussed in 133, and that is Avyakula Chittana. Is free from this, free from any preoccupations. So, and then Shastra, well, itself admits two type of students and designs the sadhanam accordingly. So there are Sankhya Pradhana student, means now they are ready for this knowledge, and there are Yoga Pradhana student. There are two things, right? So that is what it is going to say. Yat Sankhe prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate, etc. etc. So there are Sankhya Pradhana students and Yoga Pradhana students. Yoga means all the sadhanas which give you a qualification for the knowledge. Sankhya means jnanam which gives you moksha. So definitely, in addition to the Shravanam, which is the sadhanam for gaining knowledge and moksha, the people who are preoccupied, definitely they need this Nirguna Brahma Upasana meditation, like any other sadhana. In Mandukya Karika also, Acharya said, Manaso Nigrahayattam Abhayam Sarva Yoginam Dukkhakshaya Prabodascha Akshaya Shantirevacha. So, well, Gaudapada also acknowledges that after gaining even knowledge of Brahman, there are students who require mano nigraha, etc., meditation. So this kind of a Nirguna Brahma Samadhi, etc. Nigraha here means it's a Samadhi. Means basically Upasanam only, but we'll convert it into a Samadhi automatically. We discuss this. And he discusses there are certain obstacles in the mind. So the knowledge, even if he has gained, he has listened to this Mahavakya, etc. But due to those obstacles, Laya, Vikshepa, etc., well, he requires a Manonigraha, etc., Nirguna Brahma Upasanam ultimately parallel to the Shravanam. And not only it is required for a long time, depending upon obstacles. And so Vidyaranya says, what I said that there are two types of students, etc., and all this is based on Shastra. And Bhagavan has, what is said in the 5th chapter, 5th verse, he is quoting here. Yat jnanam sankhyahi prapyate. So, yat sthanam, sthanam means here moksha. So, that moksha which is attained by the Sankhya Pradhana people, by this people who are not preoccupied, etc. Sankhya Pradhana means who can commit themselves. They are really ready for that. So they even if they are doing some kind of a sadhanam, will be very limited. Some japa, etc. I told you, pranava japa, etc. they may do, or some other japa, but may be very limited. Whereas this yoga pradhana people, well, they yat sthanam sankhehi prapyate tad yogaihi api gamyate, prapyate, same thing. So there are people who definitely yoga pradhana people, they have done a shravanam or they are doing shravanam, but they definitely need this kind of upasana, etc. Yaha pashyati, the person who understands what? Ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha, both to be the same, sankyam and yogam. Well, both will lead to moksha. That's where the controversy is, which we are going to discuss. So, ekam sankyam cha yogam cha pashyati. One who sees that the sankhya also leads to jnanam, moksha, and yoga, the karma yoga, etc., well, also leads to nirvana brahma upasana, also leads to moksha. One who understands this, Sa pashyati. Well, they alone see. They have understood properly. Means it looks now that there is not just one sadhanam. Jnanam alone is not necessary. Jnanam is essential. Jnana devatu kaivalyam. Jnanam alone is essential for moksha. No, 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 no. In fact, yat sankhya hi prapyate sthanam tad yogai hi api gamyate. What is attained by these people who are committed to knowledge, the same thing is attained by the yoga. He means the people who are devoted to Nirguna Brahma Upasana, Karma Yoga, etc. All other sadhanas. They also gain. And therefore, so Vedanta Shravanam, well, no, we will understand it. Let me finish 135, then in 135 itself we will discuss a little bit. So ultimately we should understand, other than Shravanam, all sadhanams basically lead to Jnana Yogyata. And Shravanam leads to Jnana. That's it. Then, but here it is said like this. We'll discuss. Verse 135. Tatkaranam Sankhya Yogadi Gamyamiti Shrutihi Yastu Shruttir Viruddhasaha Abhasasyankhya Yogayo. So, now he is quoting a Shruti also. That was Bhagavad Gita Smriti. He is quoting Shruti, Shvetashvetar Shruti, 6th chapter, 13th mantra. So, Vidyaranya says, well, see here, Tatkaranam Sankhya Yoga Adhigamyam. Adhigamyam means Gneyam. Sankhya Yoga Adhigamyam. Sankhya Yoga Gneyam. Gneyam, what is known. Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya hi yoga hi. What is known through Sankhya. What is known means what is gained also, you can say. Here knowledge is a gain. And therefore what is known or what is gained through Sankhya also is gained through yoga. Through Karma Yoga. Sankhya means Jnana Yoga, suppose. Let's say that way. Tat Karanam Adhigamyate. So, well, what is understood as Tat means Jagat. Jagat Karanam. What is understood, well, the Brahman which is understood by the Sankhya is also understood is through yoga. Means that Jagat Karanam Brahma Aham Asmi. I am identical to the Brahman which is Jagat Karanam, is understood by the Sankhya as well as by the yoga. So, iti hi Shrutihi. This is what Shruti Shvetashvatar Upanishad says, Evam Vakti. So, all other sadhanams, here yoga means, well, other than this vichara, analysis of the Mahavakya, the japa or dhyanam or tirthyatra or pranayama, panchamahayajnasam, nirguna brahma upasana, saguna brahma upasana, all is called yoga. So Bhagavan said in chapter 2, he divided. The Sankhya Yoga has come then in chapter 2 itself. Eshate bihita Sankhye Eshate bihita Sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shrunu. I have told you, he said in I think verse 39 or something. Eshate abhihita Sankhye. Whatever I said up to this is Sankhya. And he discussed that nature of Atma, etc. It's a Tvampada Pradhana Vichara. So that is said. Now, Buddhir Yoge Tvimam Shrunu. Tu. Now, means, now tu indicates a change of topic. Imam Buddhir Yoge tu Shrunu. Buddhi Yoga Vishay. With regards to Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, well, I am going to tell you. And then he said Karmanyevadikaraste, all this. So, basically up to verse 52, he said that. Karma Yoga. So basically Bhagavan himself divided Sankhya and Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, etc. Anyway, so Bhagavan said Karma Yoga, this Samadhi, etc., Saguna Brahma Upasana and all this is included in Yoga only. Sankhya means Jnana. That's how chapter 2 is we call Sankhya. Sankhya Yoga. So this Jagat Karan Brahman is known. Iti Shruti hi vadati. And then Yastu Shrutehe Viruddaha Saha Abhasaha Sankhya Yoga Yoho. We'll discuss that, but before that, let us solve this. What said in Bhagavad Gita? What is said? Bhagavad Gita said, well, this Yat Sankhyahi Prapyate Sthanam Tad Yogaihi Api Gamyate. Yat Tat indicating one thing. So Yat, Yat Sthanam. That Sthanam, which is gained. Sthanam is here the Padam or the abode, Moksha. Sankhyahi Prapyate. Tad Yogaihi Api Gamyate. So Bhagavan has actually said for clarification, in fact, in the 5th chapter, 5th verse. Because Arjuna is not able to understand what is the role of this war in gaining moksha. I want a freedom, moksha, from the sorrow. What is that? There is no connection. In fact, the war is going to increase my sorrow. Where is the question of getting rid of the sorrow? That is the thing. Therefore, Bhagavan is in the process of clarifying that both have a place. Instead, it seems it is confused, lead to confusion. Because literal translation is this: whatever the goal is reached, goal you can say sthanam. Whatever goal is reached by the yogis can be reached by the jnanis also, Brahma jnanis also. And yoga, of course, refers to, in Bhagavad Gita, yoga refers to Karma Yoga. Sankhya refers to Jnana Yoga. So means whatever, this freedom one can attain through Jnanam, at the same time, the freedom can be attained through Karma also. Karma Yoga means Karma also. So it looks like very, so if we superficially study these statements, we feel there are two independent paths and there is an option for the sadhaka. And one can choose, definitely vichara, the jnanam, or one can choose karma. Statements appear like that. But commentators make it very clear. Bhagavan said, but then Bhashikara also makes it clear and the further commentaries also makes it clear. That karma cannot give this moksha independently. And because why karma cannot give moksha? See, the moksha is of the nature, moksha is not to be gained, but moksha is to be understood. It's one's own nature. One doesn't understand that one is free. One takes oneself to be bound. And therefore, it's a question of an ignorance. Getting rid of ignorance, one needs knowledge. That's fine. Therefore, jnanam is sufficient, that is okay. But karma also can give, Bhagavan says, karma also can give the same sthanam, karma can give you moksha. Well, karma cannot give moksha. Why karma cannot give moksha? What is karma? Well, karma means activity. Okay. All activity required what? Subject. Definitely. There is no activity without a subject. It presupposes a subject, karta. Definitely. So, karta must be there. If karta is there, that who is a karta? Who is a karta? That's a question. Oh, I am a karta. That is where the issue is. I am a karta, I am an agent of an action. Itself is the issue. Because I is not an agent of an action. I is basically a karta. And then if you say I am a karta, well, definitely it shows an ignorance. Therefore, due to ignorance, once if you want to elongate that chain, you can elongate. One takes oneself to be a individual, ahankara, karta, and one has a sense of limitation, and definitely, therefore, in order to get rid of limitations, a desire will is there for fulfillment, and that gives rise to karma, and then karma gives rise to karma phala, etc. And therefore, the very kartrutvam, etc., is due to ultimately self-ignorance. And in order to, if you take yourself to be a karta, definitely you need sadhanam, instruments to do, which has been given. You need a location, locus, remaining which you do physical body. All ultimately is product of ignorance. Karma phala, all that. I don't want to go into that. So basically, one this karma itself, so where it is discussed, it is there even in the Nishkarma Siddhi second chapter also, very beautifully discussed. How this karma can never, Sureshwaracharya ji discusses at a great length that karma can never give you moksha. Karma is not a pramana also. So karma itself is a product of ignorance. And if it is a product of ignorance, how can it remove the ignorance, which is itself is a product of ignorance? What removes ignorance is only knowledge, just as the darkness is removed by the light. And therefore karma itself is not a pramana, it is jadam. Karma kim param, karma tat jadam. So basically, karma can never lead to the jnanam. Jnanam alone is the moksha. One has to know that I am a free self. Freedom is centered on I, nowhere else. I am of the nature which is free from the effect of time, place, etc. attributes. So basically, karma is not a pramana and therefore cannot give jnana. So okay, that's fine. We don't need Swami or all these things. This is all repetition. You tell us, how do you interpret this verse? This all Bhashikara has already interpreted in that. So we should understand that the basis is there not in the fifth chapter. Basis is there in the third chapter, and that verse is very clear verse. Bhagavan said, "Lokesmin dvividha nishtha, pura prokta maya nagar, jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yogina." Lokesmin dvividha nishtha. So there are two lifestyles. There are two lifestyles basically. There is no option between karma yoga and jnana yoga. There is an option between two lifestyles. What kind of a lifestyle? Lifestyle of grihastha and lifestyle of a sannyasa. So there is no basically option between karma yoga and jnana. Karma yoga can lead to moksha and jnanam also can lead to moksha. It's not true. There cannot be an option between a shirt and a pant. There can be option in choosing between two pants and two shirts. That's fine. There cannot be an option in choosing between pant and shirt. If somebody is telling like that, he is understanding this verse in that manner. He wants to choose between the two. You cannot. You have a choice. Dvida nishtha. You have a choice with regards to the lifestyle in which both one has to pursue. Both. If both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga has to be pursued either in a Grihastha, one lifestyle, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga should be pursued in another lifestyle called Sannyasa, then what is the difference between two? There is no difference. Then why Bhagavan says Dvividha Nishtha? Well, because one has a predominance over the other. Where the Karma Yoga has a more predominance over Jnana Yoga, in a given lifestyle, that's a one type of lifestyle, which is Bahuvyakula Chittanam. That is the lifestyle for the people whose minds are preoccupied with possessions, family, this, that, money, or maybe preoccupied with a certain position, preoccupied with a certain name, fame, anything. They definitely need Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga has predominance, pradhanam, over Jnana Yoga. Shravanam is there, but gaunam. Whereas sannyasa, the lifestyle, sannyasa don't think this way. Whenever sannyasa word comes, if you think like this, I'm not telling you, but I'm telling anybody here, it's a grossness. When sannyasa is equated with the gross body, that's a grossness actually. Sannyasa has something to do with here, with a subtle body, with a mind. So sannyasa comes, immediately gross body appears with a certain dress. That's not at all. Not at all that's a criteria. Not for satisfying you. Believe me, it will not. It has all concern with this, just emotional maturity, not physical maturity or certain type of a dress, etc. So basically, one is since he has gone through to handle his likes and dislikes, which is the source of all reactions, anger, depression, all kind of angularities born of likes and dislikes. All angularities. All means all. All reactions happen. Not all reactions are deliberately created. All reactions happen. Anger happens. Sadness happens. Everything happens. One is not deliberately angry. Even if one is deliberately angry, even a child understands that my father is deliberately angry. A child also understands very well, and therefore child will not go run away. In fact, he starts laughing or she starts laughing. When her father is doing, he laughs because he knows it is deliberate. Definitely, therefore, what I am saying is one cannot be deliberately angry, one cannot be deliberately sorrowful, one cannot be deliberately frustrated. Oh, let me frustrate now. You cannot. So, all reactions are basically which just happen is product of unfulfilled likes, dislikes. Unfulfilled likes and dislikes. And so basically one who handles one's likes and dislikes through this karma yoga, etc., sameness of the mind and all that. So definitely that person, now being emotionally mature, devotes more time for pursuit of jnana. That's called sannyasa. That's a sannyasa. One who is not able to handle one's own likes and dislikes should handle. The sadhana is karma yoga. So he has a predominance of karma yoga. Therefore, dvida nishtha. So Bhagavan wants to say here that both ultimately they all, both lead to this same moksha. Means, well, there are two lifestyles in which both are there, but one gains a jnana yogyata, remaining, one's life, in one's lifestyle, one who has a pradhanam karma yoga will definitely gain a jnana yogyata, and of course is doing shravanam will ultimately lead to moksha. Or the person who has a predominance of a jnana yoga and karma yoga, of course he has a certain ashrama karmas or some few karmas, sannyas karmas also I have told you, or some other remaining as a grihastha also. Now karma yoga is less because he is devoting more time to jnana yoga. Definitely also gains moksha. Therefore, yat sthanam sankhyahi prapyate, tat sthanam yogaihi gamyate. Karma yogaihi means karma yoga, karma yogi nahi, karma yogi, and karma yoga pradhana. Yogaihi means basically there are people, the yogis means who have a karma yoga as a pradhanam. They also will gain moksha because ultimately they are also doing shravanam. Shravanam becomes effective ultimately and one gains jnana. And the Sankhya people also who has a jnana yoga pradhana life, well, definitely they also have a karma yoga partly, but very less. Gauna. They also gain the same abode. That's how Bhagavan said. So here you can divide these two groups, Sankhyahi, Yogahi, based on predominance of one over the other. And so both are essential. There is no option. Why do you insist for both? Well, because both have a different role to play. Therefore, everyone requires both. Choosing a lifestyle for pursuing both is one's own choice. It's one's own choice. Because this verse was there, so we have to discuss that. So Karma Yoga, this Gita shloka should be interpreted like this. So one giving yogyata, other giving jnana. Acquiring yogyata and jnana is essential for both. And so grihastha and sannyasi both gains jnana. One gains helps. Both are helpful in a different way. So Vidyaranya, of course, quotes here, but in place of karma, he is going to put Nirgun Brahma Upasana. Naturally, it's also karma, Manasa karma. So he is quoting not for karma yoga as such. But he is putting of course, a Nirgun Brahma Upasana. Of course, it's a part of Karma Yoga. It's a Manasa Karma. Well, and that Upasana, with reference to that, we have to use the word Yoga here. So this Upasana is also for Yogyata Prapti. And what type of people do need that? Bahuk Vyakula Chittana, which have been mentioned in verse 132. For them, further vichara is not possible. Vichara is not going to help them. Well, they definitely need this. And then same has been quoted in, he quotes in a he takes a support of a Shruti also, Shritashadar Upanishad, Tat Karanam Sankhya Odigamyam iti Shruti hi vadati. That Brahman or Moksha should be attained by both Sankhya and Yoga. Both are complementary. And Saguna Brahma Upasana or Nirguna Brahma Upasana all come under Yoga only. We are talking about Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Karma is not a pramana, and Shravanam, of course, is a pramana, means Mahavakya is a pramana for that. Now, then, what is the confusion? Well, Shvetashatar Upanishad says, well, talks about the Sankhya and Yoga as a means of moksha, whereas in Brahma Sutra and other books, well, definitely we have treated Yoga and Sankhya as a Purupaksha. In fact, the first chapter, it deals basically with the Sankhyas as a Purupaksha. And all the sutras in the first chapter of the Brahma Sutra, well, is a refutation of a Sankhya. And in the last sutra, Vyasacharya ji mentions, on the first chapter of the last, the last sutra of the first chapter, he mentions yoga also. Etena yogaha pratyuktaha. Well, pratyuktaha means refuted. Whatever I have given you the arguments in order to refute the position of the Sankhyas in the previous sutras, same line of arguments could be used to refute even yoga also. So like that, the first chapter of the Brahma Sutra basically deals with the refutation of the Sankhya and Yoga as a Purva Paksha. And here you said, Yat Sankhya hi prapyate sthanam, tad yoga hi gamyate. Therefore, Sankhya and Yoga basically both are essential for moksha. And Brahma Sutra definitely deals with them as a Purva Paksha. So that shows Vedanta is quite distinct from these two. They must have a different position. Yes, they have. Then why you say here Yat Sankhya Bhagavan says, and why Shvetashatar Upanishad says Tat Karanam Sankhya Yogadi Adhigamyam iti Shruti vadati, etc. Why? So what is the meaning of Sankhya in both the things? There the Sankhya is a Purupaksha in Brahma Sutra. Here Sankhya you are saying this Jnanam, Vedanta Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. What is this actually? So, well, we talk about the Sankhya as, we means here, in a Brahma Sutra, Sankhya is definitely a philosophy which is written by a Kapila. He is the founder of that. And Yoga is written by, the founder is a Patanjali. And both acharyas, they definitely, they come under the group of Astikas. Sankhya Yoga, they are twin brothers. They have a same philosophy. Yoga only describes to a certain practices to imbibe that philosophy. So Sankhya Yoga goes together, Nyaya Vaisheshika goes together, Mimamsaka, we go together generally. These are all the 6 systems of philosophy, or we call Astika system of philosophy, where, well, Vedaha pramanam asti iti vadati. So Veda is a pramana for all this. Veda is a basis for all the 6 systems of philosophy. The differences are in the concept of moksha and other things also. So that is where the issues are. But the basis is a Veda for all. So, well, and so when we study both these Shastras, we observed certain important points. Certain points of their teaching are going against the Veda. Certain portion is in keeping with the Veda. And so there are two portions. Because other than Vedantin, and even Mimamsaka also, all this Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, and even our yoga people, even though they say they have a basis in Veda, they don't accept totally Veda. So basically, whatever Veda has said, they find that this, somehow they feel that this is not in keeping with the logic, then they differ, and they have differed. So there is a certain portion in Sankhya Yoga, etc., which is not in keeping with the Veda. And the very first thing is Sankhyas don't believe in Ishvara, which is a Jagat Karan. They don't believe. Yoga people says no, there is a Ishvara, and they define. In a Yoga Sutra, Patanjali defines who is called Jiva, who is called Ishvara. Ishvara is one who is free from Panchaklesha. Jiva is one who is basically, who suffers due to Panchaklesha, etc. Avidya, Asmita, etc. So, so this is like that, Sankhya Yoga. Even Nayayikas also accept Ishvara as a Nimitta Karana, not Upadan Karana. And Mimamsaka don't believe in Ishvara. They say there is a karma alone, but there is no, the Srishti is like this only, and there is no Ishvara who is a Karta of this creation. They don't accept it as a creation at all. Anyway, Nayayikas accept it as a creation, but they say Ishvara is just a Nimitta Karan, efficient cause. Anyway, so Sankhya's don't believe in Ishvara. Yoga's people believe in Ishvara, but that is also Nimitta Karan. They also believe in Nimitta Karan. Vedantin says no. Vedantin says Ishvara is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana. But do they have a basis in Veda? They have a basis. That's what we study in Taittiriya Upanishad. What is that? So basically, and therefore, tasmad va etasmad atmanah akasha sambhutah akashat vayu tasmad brahmanah. Before that, it has been said very clearly, right? So, satyam jnanam anantam brahman tasmat, from that Brahman, which is a tasmat, which is nothing but the Atma, akasha sambhuta, means elements are come, etc. So basically the maker and material are one, very clear. And other Upanishads also talk about it, not just Taittiriya. Therefore, we are totally going with the Veda. If you look at the statement in the Upanishads, one will clearly say, yes, there is a Ishvara, he is a Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam, and we give him ample examples that the material maker are one. Upanishad gives various examples. Example of the person, example of the spider, like that. There are several things. And therefore, it is not something which is very unusual. When we give an example of maker and material being one, then there could be a possibility that yes, Ishvara can be the material and can be the maker also. But anyway, like the we also are maker and material for the dream creation. So anyway, so basically all the systems of philosophy in Astika system, I'm not talking about Nastikas who are Bauddhas, 4 types of Bauddhas and Jainas and Charvaka. They are also 6. They are all Nastika because they just don't accept any statement of the Veda. They say Veda is not at all a pramana for moksha and all these things. Anyway, so what I want to convey is, even in an Astika system of philosophy who accept Veda as a pramana, they don't accept in toto everything from the Veda. Therefore, there is some portion of the Sankhyas which is in keeping with the Veda. There is some portion of the Veda, there is some portion of the Yoga which is in keeping with the Veda. But other things are not. And I can give you example, and you know very well, we have discussed also before, that Sankhya says that there are many Atmas. And which they call it as a Purusha. That's fine. But they say the Atmas are many. And that is called Purusha, and the Prakriti, which is the cause of the entire creation, cause of the all the Panchamahabhutas and all that Prakriti, we generally call Maya here, but they call Prakriti. So that Prakriti also is as real as the Purusha, Atma. So that is quite distinct, right? That's very distinct. Both are independent, they say. Both are independent and both are equally real. Prakriti basically brings, and that Purusha, the Atma, well, are many, and Purusha is also Bhokta. Yeah. And this Prakriti, well, creates various bhogas for the Purushas, for the Jivas who are Atma, basically, for the Bhokta. So this kind of a thing they have, which is not the case. Nowhere in the Upanishad it has been said that Atma is Bhokta. In fact, we are in a process to prove that Atma is Abhokta, Akarta, etc. Nayayika says that Purusha is the Atma. Their Purusha means basically they don't use word Purusha, they say Atma. Atma is also one of the category. There are 7 categories in this creation, and Atma is also one of them. Means 7 categories means there are main 7 things in this creation. They are divided into 7 categories. One of that is Atma, conscious being. They are of 2 types. Atma means one is a Jivatma, other is a Paramatma. And the Jivatma, basically are many. Paramatma is one, who is a Nimitta Karanam for all this creation. And the Jivatma basically is a Karta. So that is how they say. So, but Jivatma and Paramatma, they divide into 2, etc. So this also is going against the Shastra. Shastra, our Upanishad clearly reveals Atma as a free from Kartrutva and Bhoktrutva. So this Atma is a Karta, etc. The Nayayika believes Atma is a Bhokta, etc. Sankhya believes. So all these varieties of the things, certain things you can get, you can agree with them, but certain things you cannot agree with them. So because not that we don't want to agree with them, but basically it is against Veda Viruddha. It is basically against the Shastra. So this is also not correct. There are many Atmas, and there is no Ishvara, and Prakriti and Purusha both are independent, both are real, what we call Anatma and Atma, etc. We say Maya is not independent of the Ishvara, etc. Maya is just Upadhi of the Brahman, and that with that Maya Upadhi, which is nothing but you can call Shakti, which alone manifests in the form of this creation, etc. That is Mithya. So this is their vision is not in keeping totally with the Veda. Anyway, so that's how here it is said. So certain portion, we are ready to accept. Certain portion we are not ready to accept. So we borrow certain things from Sankhya and Yoga, which is not against Veda. We definitely borrow. In fact, we borrow their Srishti. The way this describes Srishti, we don't have any issue. We may say Tasmad va Tasmat Atmana Akasha Sambhuta, from Atma the Akasha, etc. is born, and from then Vayu, etc. is born. They start with the Prakriti, and then the Mahatattvam, and then Ahankara, and then Panchamahabhutas, etc. It's a very different way of narrating the creation. We accept it. Ultimately, we don't mind. Because in the Upanishad itself, one says that 5 elements are created like that from Ishvara, right? Or the Brahman, ultimately. But Brahman is the cause of the entire world. Or other Upanishad says 3 elements, Chandogya Upanishad says. Or Prashnopanishad says Rai and Prana. Whole creation is due to this mingling of Rai and Prana only. So in Upanishads themselves, the creation has been defined, the process of creation has been defined differently. And therefore one more, presented by the Sankhyas, we don't mind and we accept it. But then you say Prakriti is independent. The Prakriti, which is the cause of the entire world, is independent, real, and of the Purusha. Purusha is also and Purusha is Bhokta, etc. And they are many, Atmas are many, etc. Purusha means Atma. They are many. Well, basically, this is all that we cannot accept. Like in yoga, also we accept. We discuss Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi cannot be, if you accept Nirvikalpa Samadhi, you definitely accept Ashtanga Yoga. Therefore, you accept Yama Niyama, etc. And we accept. Yama Niyama, we accept. In fact, we talked about it in a Samanya Dharma. So, Vishesha Dharma, depending upon Ashrama, Varnashrama Dharma is a Vishesha Dharma. And Samanya Dharma means Yama Niyama, etc. And we say they are really good for integration of our personalities, intellectual, emotional, and the physical personalities. There should be an integration between them, which is, of course, Adhikaritvam. Well, yoga helps to a great extent. And therefore, every way, body also should be taken care of properly by asanas and etc. And pranayama, etc. helps you for the all physiological activities, etc. What I'm saying is, we are accepting. And so, Amsha of either of the systems, Nayayika also, we accepted Panchavaya, Tarka, Vakyamaya, everything. So, means the presentation of the logic, we are accepting. Their Anumana Pramana, well, what they have narrated, we accept. We don't have any other, we have our own thing is this. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Other than everything we borrow. Everything we borrow. And we don't have any kind of a, we don't feel, anything inferior by borrowing it. But which is Viruddhamsha, we cannot accept. Anyway, even Nirguna Brahma Upasana also we can borrow Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, etc. So, Yastu Shrutehe Viruddhasyat. So, now I am answering ultimately, finally. So, Sankhya Yoga, which has been mentioned there in our Bhagavad Gita or even in the Shruti, etc., Shveta, etc., and Sankhya Yoga, which has been presented as a Purva Paksha in Brahma Sutra by Vyasacharya ji. Why is like this? Because Yastu Shrutehe Viruddha Syat. What Saha Sankhya Yoga Yoho Abhasa Syat. Whichever part of the Sankhya and Yoga Shastra are contradictory to Veda, that portion, that part becomes our Purva Paksha. That's it. That becomes our Purva Paksha. Not really Sankhya Yoga, etc. Well, and so from the standpoint of the portion which is Aviruddham, well, we are accommodating and we call it Sankhya Smriti, Yoga Smriti, etc. And so definitely, so Yastu Shrutehe Viruddha Syat Saha, that Viruddhamsha, Saha, Sankhya Yoga Yoho Abhasa Syat. That is pseudo Sankhya Yoga, means that is not acceptable. Other things we are accepting. So that is what we have to understand. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.